Hi, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday today, so it's time to catch up with a brand new vlog, and this week we got the very first week of actual stuff to do in the new patch. Patch, of course, hit last week, but the first week was kind of bug fixing, and this week was bug fixing and some new quest content to do. So it's called the War of Thorns, as I found out on the launcher. Never would have known or guessed that otherwise. Where did the Thorns come in? We're in Darkshore, and Briarthorn grows there. Am I missing something? I get everything all framed and then my cat starts being really cute and then I have to like scooch and you know, we don't need that much ceiling, hang on. So the story conflict is rising in Darkshore and some actual conflict is rising in Darkshore because they've debuted the bounty system out there in war mode. So if you're running around in war mode and you're very successful at killing people, eventually you get a bounty on your head where you're doing more damage, but people can see you on their minimap, so they'll all come find you. It looks like a lot of fun that I don't plan on participating in, but it looks like a lot of fun for other people. I've heard a lot of people expressing some disappointment at this first wave of content. I've heard some people comparing it to the 7.2 situation when we had the Broken Shore campaign that was a lot of open 3 chests and then kill 10 demons. People were a little disappointed with that campaign, and I've heard some similar comparisons. I think it's just kind of a function of the fact that we had to wait a week for the new stuff to do, and now that it's out, you know, everybody was like, alright, we're gonna get to do the burning of Teldrassil, and then they got up to this dock, or whatever Horde players actually got up to. I never did do it on Horde side, but you get up to the dock if you're Alliance, and you're like, well, guess I'm doing World Quest now. I think it's a short-lived complaint. I think that after this next upcoming week, so we're getting more content next week and then presumably the week after, my guess is because we got what I felt was more than half of the Teldrassil thing in the first week, I feel like we're going to finish it and get the finale and get the mounts on Tuesday. And I don't know this for sure. This is just my guess. I'm guessing that we're going to finish the Teldrassil thing this upcoming Tuesday, and then the next week after that will be the Lordaeron thing. And then the next week after that is actually BfA launch because we're like 17 days away. So yeah, it was a little bit of a funny place for the quest line to end. You just have like this lineup of people on the dock going like, wait a minute, is that it? Are we done? Is that all I get to do? But I have been very much enjoying the gearing, the alt gearing from Darkshore World Quests, because the gear is such a huge bump up for like 9 out of my 11 characters. So I've just left them there. And then every day I'm like, man, I'm just gonna zip through these World Quests on, you know, 10 characters and get my extra gear, and it turns out it's hard to zip through something 10 times over. It takes a little bit of time. But the gear's been really good, so I'm hoping that that makes my mount runs a little less painful, because we have been doing some struggling with the Lich King. We're killing him, but it takes some doing. On top of the War of Thorns thing, Blizzard released a whole bunch of new video content this week. They had Warbringers Jaina, of course. They had the first of the Warbringers. What do you call those? Are they cinematic shorts? Are they like WoW music videos? You know, it was cool, but I don't know exactly what to call it. But the first one of those came out. There's 2 more coming at some point soon, hopefully, I'm assuming. We don't actually know, I don't think, when the other 2 are going to drop, and I think the suspense is making it better. They also just released, I think today or yesterday, these little short clips that are just close-ups of the cinematically done faces of Anduin and Sylvanas, you know, like getting ready for battle. It's just like 10 or 15 seconds long or so. But that was really cool. That was a really cool thing. I wonder if that's just for YouTube and for people to share around on social media, or if that one's going to air on TV, because they also did a set of what I'm assuming are TV spots, although I have seen them playing in like YouTube pre-roll ads. They did 4 BfA ads, just like short little 30-second clips that are kind of talking up the Horde versus Alliance thing, but like in real life scenarios that were pretty cute. If you haven't seen any of this yet, it's all in the World of Warcraft channel. If you go to Upload Sort by New, you'll find it, and I think the Umbrella one was my favorite. The bus one was pretty good, but I think the Umbrella one was my favorite. They've been really ramping up the BfA advertising. There's also like these custom Twitter hashtag emotes where if you use hashtag for the Horde and Alliance and a couple of other ones, there's like actual little custom emotes that show up in Twitter. They're really going all out and trying different things. I think it's very noticeable. Or maybe I was just sleeping through the Warlords promo cycle. I do remember that they had like that big orc statue in New York, I think. But they've been really leaning into the digital side of things this time around, and I think that's smart, but we'll see how it goes. As for what I've been up to this week, I guested on the Training Dummies podcast, so I got to sit down and chat with Rob and Daryl. I will link to that in the description if anybody's interested in checking out that episode. I have been warm. It's been like consistently like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, like 35-ish plus Celsius, like every day for over a week. And then you look at the forecast and it's just supposed to continue doing that until basically the end of time, it feels like. But you know, like I said, we have AC here. So basically it's just good that I wasn't planning on going outside anyways, because we just stay in here and work on videos. And that's basically what I've been doing is video stuff. And and then more video stuff, and mostly just sitting at my desk working at video stuff. So I'm gonna be really boring for a while because I'm not gonna have any good stories aside from, well, I was editing and then Premiere crashed and then I had a backup. That's my life right now. Maybe it'll get more interesting after BfA comes out. Questions from this week. Ismail asks, will you make an absolute noob pet guide thing at some point? I could use that a lot. So I do plan to do that, but not right away. I plan to do that after BfA, both because, one, I have a list of stuff that I'm working through and I'm trying really hard not to mess with it too much, and secondly, there very could well be new information that we're going to discover as we actually get into BfA that would be good for that video that will come out a little bit later. So I will do that, not right away. I totally understand the need for it though. I have been trying to watch makeup videos, like by beauty gurus, to try and figure out what I'm doing when I'm putting stuff on my face. And I'm finding lots of really talented people that make really great, well-edited, helpful videos, but mostly about new stuff because, you know, at that point when they've been making videos for so long, there's kind of this assumption that everybody knows everything, and I just want somebody to teach me, like, which brushes to use and what order to put stuff on and, like, what to actually do. So I relate, and I do plan on doing that after BfA. Ghostly Kick asks, how did you dye your hair so well, and did you watch a tutorial? I'd love to do mine myself, but I'm too scared it'll go wrong. So I don't know if I agree that I did it very well. I did watch a ton of tutorials. I basically looked up every video I could find of people dyeing their hair crazy colors, and specifically purple, and watched a lot of them to try and get a feel for, at the very least, like, things to not do. And then I also did my own video and I did my own hair, which will include some stuff to not do. But the one piece of advice that I do have after having done it a couple times, if you are not trying to get your hair to a very light color, like if you don't need it to be a pastel, then don't bleach it all the way. Go easy on the hair lightening. You very well may need to lighten your hair if you want it to be a vibrant color if you're starting with dark hair, but you don't have to lighten it all the way. I have very naturally dark hair, and when I lift it before dyeing, I do so with a 20 volume developer, and I don't leave anything on very long. It gets to like this really ugly, like orangey blonde, and then I just dye it from there because the purple is strong enough to overwrite that. And then I also do my best to never bleach hair that has already been bleached. So when I'm touching up, I only bleach my roots and then I dye the whole thing over. Lightening and bleach damage is probably the worst thing that can go wrong, but if you want to do it, at the end of the day, it's just hair. As long as you're not going to get fired from your job if you look really strange for a while, you know, even if it goes really terribly, you can probably salvage it and it'll grow out and then you can try again. It's hair and it does grow back, and I think that as long as you can do so without like repercussions from your job and you want to, I'd say have fun with it. Joe Morgan asks, what is your stance on the discussion of the level squish mentioned in the Q&A? So I thought it was really interesting that they talked about that because it's something that I've been thinking about and to some extent mentioning on and off for a long time, that levels are kind of getting out of hand. And I always kind of offhandedly thought that one day they would do a level squish, much like they've been doing stat squishes, but the issues that they brought up when they discussed it in the Q&A, I'd never actually thought of it that way before, and it does make a lot of sense that it would feel very, very weird to log in and suddenly be level 80 again, or level 90, or level 60. That would feel, I think that would feel like losing something. Like, what did we, like, I know we played all of those years for a lot of reasons, but I do feel like a level squish would be very difficult to pull off correctly. But I also do think that there is going to eventually have to be some kind of a solution. If you don't level squish, then I think maybe we will eventually have to come up with a way to progress and feel like we are growing as characters without having to do another 10 levels. Because just imagine like getting WoW for the first time and being level 1 and then digging to level 2 and then looking at how many are left and you have to get to level 250. Like, at some point something has to happen. I don't know what has to happen. Muffin Bottoms asks, when you eat your tomatoes, do you notice a fish taste since watering with fish water? I don't know much about growing produce, so I'm not sure if your produce can take on the taste of its environment. So we're gonna find out. The tomatoes aren't ready yet. They're growing and they're green, but they're not ready yet. That's going to be another couple of weeks. And I'm actually really curious to find that out because when I was looking online about using aquarium water to water plants, something that somebody said was use it on your flowers and like your visual stuff. Don't use it on your food plants because reasons, and that sounded really vague, so I decided just to do it anyways because what's the worst thing that can happen? I guess we'll find out. Like, if we start eating tomatoes and they just taste like fish, then that's going to be awkward, and then I guess I will have learned. But my reasoning behind thinking it's probably not going to be a problem is that we fertilize our food plants with all sorts of really gross stuff. You know, worm castings are worm poo. Growing up, we had chickens, and we used to make like a chicken tea with like chicken droppings, like composted with like water that was very gross and grew excellent food plants. And that never tasted like chicken stuff, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be fine, but we're gonna find out. I do make sure that if it's an aquarium that's been medicated, like when I was treating the cherry barbs, I didn't use that water for my plants because I don't know what that's gonna do. But otherwise, so far it's fair game. Anyways, that has been my week. This feels really short. If you have any questions that you would like answered on a vlog, please leave them as comments on the most recent vlogs or stop by my live streams. I do them Fridays and Tuesdays. I want to give a big thank you to everybody that's watching my videos, both the veteran viewers and people that are new to the channel. It means a lot to me that you guys are taking time out of your days to see something that I've made, and that's really cool. So thank you guys so much for that, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!